Hey everyone, it's Dylan and Charlie from the Black Forest Wood Company. This week we're going to be working on the biggest round table we have ever made. I know it's kind of becoming a joke around here now that every week we're doing the biggest or largest something that we've ever done, but people just keep ordering larger stuff. So this is a 9-foot round Claro walnut dining table that we've paired with midnight blue resin, and of course we've used our Black Forest deep resin here. So we're going to show you how we managed to flatten this because it's bigger than our CNC. We're going to show you the pour for this piece, and then not until next week, but eventually you guys will get to see the full process on this piece. And we've got some bonus content in here too from another table. So please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All of that really means a lot to us. We do read basically every single comment and try and reply to as many as we can. So thank you guys for all your support, and I hope you enjoy the table.
Well, today our, I think 20-foot long CNC is not big enough, so we had to buy a little CNC router sled set up, and we're gonna flatten this big 9-foot by 9-foot wide round table for you.
Okay, so we were a little low, obviously, on that first go around. We only had 180 liters, so we mixed up 30 more liters. We've got for a total of 210 now, and we're gonna add these in. We're just going to get our fan set up on this. We'll give it a once over and go around and pick out any small pieces of dust. But there we go. This will sit in here for about a week, and then we'll come back and try and lift it out of here. This is a full 3 inches thick as well, I should mention. So our resin without cooling is rated for a 2-inch thick pour. We've got 3 fans set up around this piece, and we've also got a water-cooled mold. So if you guys haven't been watching us for a long time, you might not know about our pouring setup. It's actually aluminum tables with HDPE over top, And then we've got full copper piping with chilled water. There's our water chiller there. We can set the temperature on it. And that's what's actually keeping the resin nice and cool during this cure time here. If you were to have no fans, no cooling, you could get a little bit too quick of a cure, which is going to result in bubbles, and then it's not going to soak in as much. But just with those fans and the cooling, we're able to pour 200 liters like this at 3 inches thick in a single shot. All of the bubbles pop on their own too. Like, we haven't went over this with a blowtorch or anything like that. And it's actually not recommended to use a blowtorch, because what can happen is you'll flash cure that top layer and trap bubbles. But we'll leave this here for 5 or 6 more days, and then we'll get it demolded. So this is another project that we ended up delivering this week. It was a custom commissioned console table that our client's going to put in her basement. And it also has a color that we've never really done before. It's kind of this goldeny forest green, I guess you would describe it as. That's how I created the color, at least. It was a mix of gold pigment and green pigment. And it actually kind of happens to match the outside of her home, which was kind of a nice little touch that we realized when we came up. The wood here is Mappa Burl, which is essentially just French poplar burl, if you guys didn't know that. And we're using our black forest deep resin here, as usual. And this, again, was a pretty thick pour with a large volume of resin and a very porous species of wood. And we did not have to seal the edges to get a bubble-free pour. Our resin cures nice and slow, so it does that on its own. After we've flattened and sanded our piece to 320 grit, the next step is to apply our black forest furniture oil. A lot of the time we'll apply the initial coat by hand just so we can control how much product's going on there, because you do want to make sure it's a very small amount. After we've buffed on that coat by hand, we'll then follow it up with the gem just to kind of work in the oil into the wood, and then also to remove any excess. And we like to do 2 coats, and you can sand in between if you want to increase the sheen. And then to finish it, we top it off with our black forest ceramics. So here we are delivering the piece to her house. Luckily this one wasn't too heavy, so the 2 of us were able to pull this off. Really, really gorgeous home here as well. And it's just going in her basement next to the ping pong or beer pong table, depends what kind of a night you're having. She said last it was used for beer pong. And you'll also see on the bottom of that table there was some angle iron we installed. That was just to help the rigidity of the piece, since there was a lot of resin and this wood is very soft. These legs look light, but they're actually a solid 3/4 inch by 4 inch steel, so they're over 100 pounds per leg. And then we're using the Mappa threaded inserts, which we do sell. You guys can find them on our website, and those just do a really good job securing the legs down. So the legs for this piece were custom designed actually so that they could slide underneath this heat register here. That way the edge of the table can touch right against the wall without kind of having this awkward gap about that big. So let's slide it up and see. That pour went very, very well. It's definitely a little nerve-wracking when we end up pouring this volume of resin, but we're very happy with the way it turned out. The Mappa Burl table also was a big success. The client loved it. She was at first, she thought that the color might be a little bit too light for her basement, but then once we saw it in there, it looked very good. So huge thank you to our client. She was a very, very sweet lady. Pleasure to work with. And next week, hopefully we'll have this thing demolded and we can show you a little bit more of the process, but likely what we'll do is wait until it's completely finished and show you guys a start to finish on it. But if you do want to stay more up to date on some of our projects, just follow us on Instagram. We're posting stories on there every day and you guys can see daily updates. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I guess we should hear from Charlie. We haven't heard from him in a little bit. Charlie, what do you think? Okay, again, he's keeping it short, but thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.